I have created 3 new WebWork problems for Math 260. I'm going to load them up and try them out, make sure they work, and if they do, create a homework set out of them. So at this point, what you may have done is looked at all the text and files and gotten your head around everything that's going to go on, and you've hopefully watched the WebWork 1 and 2 videos, which are about just the problem files themselves, as well as file management. So this file manager screen should look familiar. Now in the Math 253 WebWork area, I've already created a problem testing kind of sandbox, which is where we're going to do all of our testing out. The CP problem files directory, I want that to stay clean and only populated with problems that we know are working and are ready to be put into homework sets. So I'm going to use the new folder to make a cleverly titled problem testing, because I think I told you that's the name of the folder that I want you to look for your own. And so this is the routine you would go to when you are making your own. So I'm just going to back out again just to make sure we see what we should see. So here's the home level of the file management in WebWork. A whole bunch of stuff that just, a lot of this stuff is just garbage. Leftovers from copying old classes, but here's what we intend to fill up. And actually in there right now is a whole bunch, but these are problems that I already know work. And then here is the new area that I've made, and there's nothing in it because I just made it. But now I'm going to put something in it. So I'm going to go to my machine, and in my own local WebWork problems area for Math 260, I've been using an editor on my machine to make 3 problems, and I'm going to just bring them up one at a time. So I chose the first one and uploaded. Now I'm going to choose the second one and upload it. And I'm going to choose the third one and upload it. There we go. So these 3 are uploaded and they're ready to be viewed. Now, when you're uploading files, it is possible to make a zip file. It has to be a TAR Unix type zip, not a Windows compressed file, but you can get tools to do that, and you can zip up like 10 files, upload the zip file, and WebWork knows how to unpackage them. I figured by the time I got the other software open, zipped the files up, and uploaded the zip, if I'm only handling 3 files at a time, I might as well have just done them one at a time. So I usually don't worry about zipping. But if you want more information about that, I'm sure you can find it. Okay, so we're going to head for the library browser, which again, you should have seen stuff about. I'm going to look in the local problems directory, and now I should see problem testing. And when I click view problems, that folder was empty. So now I should only see these first 3 problems. And let's hope that we don't see big blasts of pink. So far, so good. Okay, there's one problem. There's another problem. And there's a mess in there, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then here's the third problem. There's no pink. Oh my gosh, I might have gotten my coding right. So now we have to check to make sure that it accepts the right answers. And so we can cheat a little bit to do that. So here's problem 1. You guys know what this is. We're just doing Gaussian elimination. So the idea here is to eliminate the bold-faced numbers, basically eliminating everything off the diagonal, but not worrying about row echelon form. So I'm not going to try to get the A, B, and C down to 1. Now I want to run this problem as a trial. So I'm going to click this little eyeball icon up on the right, and that's going to open up a problem window. And the problem says, hey, when you're done, right, the problem in the book or in the notes would have just said use elimination to eliminate. In the book it would have said the circled entries, but I can't make circles around individual entries here in WebWork, at least that I know of, so I just bold-faced them instead. And in the book, the problem in the book just says do it, and then that's it. And then if they're handing it in, you'd see whether it was right. But here we've got to pull out information to know that they've done it right. So I'm saying here's a template of what your row equivalent matrix ought to look like. And even though they might be wrong based on scaling, if I've given you my version that has like negative 36 in this last entry of row 1, you should be able to rescale your row 1 to match and then tell me what your value of A happens to be, and we should now agree. Now, either I can open up my old LaTeX file to see what the solution is, or I can look into the solution which I've created using my LaTeX. So now I can see the solution that I've actually built. As an instructor, I can view the solution, and I can see that A is coded, or is supposed to be, negative 36, B is 144, and C is 32. And then I can click preview just to make sure that I type them in right. Students should be doing this too. And then once I've previewed them and I've seen, yep, I got in what I think I get, I'm going to submit them. And all right, so everything is consistent. That problem is good to go. I'm going to go back to library browser and local problems. Oh, you know what? I don't need to do this even. I can just close this window because WebWork opens a new window when you go to try something. All right, so that second problem I'm going to skip for a second. This third problem is just, here's a big matrix, put it in row echelon form. Now, I can make matrices of numbers like the ones you see here, or matrices of numbers and expressions, or I can make a matrix that's full of answer boxes like in the other video where I was showing you the different environments. What I hadn't figured out how to do yet was have a mix where I can make a matrix for the students and say, well, we already know that there's going to be a bunch of zeros and ones, so I'll put those in place, but I need you to give me the rest of the entries. So my first attempt to set that up was to just build a template of the row echelon form of this matrix, because we know there's going to be a bunch of zeros, and I put the ones on the sort of diagonal there, and then just left unknowns in the rest of the spots where they have to put them in manually into the boxes. All right, so that was my attempt for this one. So I'm going to try it by clicking the, it looks fine. There's no errors in the compiling of this problem yet. I'm going to give it a shot. I have no memory of what these numbers ought to be, so again, I'm going to pop open the solution. Solution says I got, let's see, so the 1 is already in place. So A starts at 2. So A is 2, then 1, whoops, then 1, then negative 2, then 1. And then E is the 1/3. F is negative 2/3. G is negative 1/3. H is negative 5/7. And J, whoops, okay, here's a mistake. See that J? That's not matching the format of the rest, so we'll have to fix that. That'll be easy. And that last number in that second to last row, negative 1/7. And then finally, the K is going to be negative 10/27. Now, if I submit this and it's wrong, there's two possibilities. One is that well, there's two things that happen. One is that even though I've typed this down here as the solution, but maybe when I was building the answer values for A, B, C all the way through K, maybe I accidentally left off negative sign. Like when I was entering what the answer ought to be for H, maybe I accidentally put it in as 5/7. So then it would be marked wrong, even though the matrix down here says it ought to be negative 5/7. But let's see. Let's just hope all my minus signs were in place. I'm going to submit. Okay, that's consistent. So the setup and the answer checking is okay. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix this little doodle. So right there where the J is. So to fix it, I'm going to click the pencil icon to open up an editing window within WebWork itself. And then I'm going to go down to where that display was. So again, remember the routing. The top of the file is just all the indexing junk. Then there's macros that we don't really care about at the moment. Then there's the setup of all the answer values. And again, if I had a minus sign out of place, even though the visual of the matrix had the minus sign in place, then my error checking would have been wrong, so everything has to be consistent. And then here's the actual text of the problem as displayed. There's the original matrix. Here's where I built the template with the constants in it. And then here's where I'm grabbing all of those answer boxes. And Bingo. Remember that the LaTeX environment is triggered by a backslash parentheses, and I did not have a slash there. So that should fix it. All right, now what do? Don't go too fast down here. What we want to do is update and click take action. And now it's going to open up the problem again, and there, that looks much better. So now that I've edited this file on the WebWork platform, the problem testing folder has the most up-to-date version of this problem in it, but now the file that's on WebWork server, the WebWork server, and the file that I have on my laptop are different, and that's not really good. So what I have to do, I'm not going to do it this second, but what I'm going to do is go back in and just open up my own editor on my computer and change that one little doodle so that I do have them the same, because you don't want to start maintaining different versions of all your problems. Now in this window you can see that error is still there, but that's because this window has not been refreshed since I made the fix. So I'm going to do view problems again, and now when I get down there, see, now it's all fixed. Okay, so what was up with this one? Well, I found by looking at other examples in the library databanks in WebWork, somebody else had built a matrix where they were able to set up a matrix that's a combination of the individual constant entries and open boxes. So I can build a matrix that's already kind of half assembled with the gaps in there. And then this down here was supposed to be commented out. I thought I put comments in the code are supposed to be double hashtagged, and I just put a single hashtag, and so it really didn't get commented out. So how this problem really should look is that this matrix is given, and then this is the display for the answer. So first of all, I'm going to go fix just that display business to clean it up a bit. Because if I don't comment out those lines with the extra answer boxes, then WebWork's going to expect extra input, and if I don't give it, it's going to give an error message. So first of all, I'm going to double hashtag, double pound sign, whatever you kids call it these days. Okay, so I've double hashtagged all those loose answer boxes. Up in this matrix now, I remember seeing this. The matrix isn't necessarily an augmented coefficient matrix, so maybe I want to take out that vertical bar, but maybe not, we'll see. But I've taken out all the extra answer boxes, and you know what, I'm going to center this matrix too. So a lot of the formatting is $ B and E for begin and end, like $B bold, $E bold, begins and ends, boldface. I'm pretty sure that B center and $E center will start and end the centering environment for that matrix. So let's see what that did. I'm going to click update, and then I'm going to take action. Oh, what the heck just happened? Now I'm getting pink. Maybe I can't comment in that zone of the problem. Maybe that's the issue. Well, let's see. Whoops, that's not the window I want. There it is. Let's go back to I'm going to close this because I'm not ready for it. Okay, the comments are all starting with double hashtags. There are other comments in the thing. Oh, no space. Okay, now let's try. Update. It's still at update. Take action. What the heck? All right, I don't want to keep fiddling with this too much because the point of this video is not for you to watch me fuss over whether I can comment out the right lines or not. It's just how do you test out problems and then implement your new version and let it go. So my job is going to be to keep working on this, and I'm going to figure out how to get rid of those extra lines in there. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. I had them commented out because I wasn't sure that the other version of the matrix was going to work. Now that I know that the other version of that matrix is going to work, I don't need these lines at all. I don't need them commented out so that I can return them. I'm just going to get rid of them. Okay. Update. Take action. Oh, and the pink is gone. And that's because when I still had those lines had been intended to comment it out because they were the old versions of these entry boxes. So since the commenting wasn't working, the problem had 12 answer boxes waiting instead of 6, and there were only 6 items being checked in the answer checker. So when I deleted those lines, then this all worked. All right, so when this matrix is reduced to this row echelon form, what do we get? In fact, I could actually delete this too. I don't even need this template here anymore. So I'm going to look at my solution to get the numbers. I would need to fill in with -1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1/4, -1/4, and then the last constant's -9/13. Go for a submission, and hooray, they're all right. Okay, I'm going to close that trial window. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get rid of, when the following matrix is reduced to row echelon form, we get, since I'm not naming any constants as A, B, C, D, etc. and asking for them specifically, I don't need to see that template. Still on update, take action. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I've got the original matrix and a template for the row echelon form. It's kind of unfortunate that the matrix has round brackets and then the answer format has square brackets, but that doesn't really matter, and I could go back and change P matrix to B matrix and in LaTeX code and change that to a square bracket anyway. But I know the answer solution is going to work. So then what I need to do is go back to this problem, the problem 3 that was bigger, and redo that one in the same fashion. So I'm going to get rid of this template and I'm going to get rid of these individual boxes, and I'm just going to build a, what is it, a 4x5 matrix that has the 0s and 1s already in place and then the boxes left over for the entry. And again, the reason that I did all that editing and wait, why did these boxes come back? It's because this is the library viewer window and we have not refreshed it since those edits took place. And now that I do that, bingo. Well, that one's cluttered up because that's the way it was, but there we go. That's much better. So that's the routine. And now I've got 3 working problems, one of which still needs to be transformed a little bit. When I'm done, I would actually, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to go back to my file manager. Okay. I made a teeny tiny edit on that problem 1, right? So I'm going to go back in there and I want to make sure that I've retained that version. So I'm selecting that file and I'm going to download it. And you can see down there it's now been downloaded to my machine, so I have to put that back in my folder. But now I have the most up-to-date version of that file. Even though I did my editing in WebWork, I can still now collect it with the others. And that's what you're going to do. So when you make working problems according to my suggestions that are in the files that I'm delivering to you in the zip file, then your problem testing folder, this one for 260 or the other one for 253, they're going to have your problems in there, and you're going to have a set of nice, clean, non-duplicated, coming in multiples of 3, because the challenge problems come in multiples of 3. You can tell me, hey, I've got 3 working files for the challenge problems in section 4.5 or whatever the heck it is, and then I will go take a look, and if they look good, I will port them over and make homework sets out of them. And that will be awesome. And hopefully it's fun.